I'm going to demonstrate today how to properly use my DVOM. We are going to start out with our voltage, how to check for voltage. We have a series in parallel. We have a light turning on with a switch. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn our multimeter onto voltage. We're going to take our test leads and put them on either end of our circuit to get our source voltage, which we got 13.48. Then I'm going to test across my component, and I should get about the same.
Then you have your wire. Alright, pause this and get that portion done.
Which I got close to my source voltage. I got 13.40.
Yeah. Alright, so
I am going to now test my resistance with my DVOM with my series in my circuit. First thing I'm going to do is isolate my component that I'm testing. I'm going to put my test leads on either side of my component. To show that I have resistance across my component. Then I also have a few resistors on my board. I have a 100 amp resistor. I have a 200 amp resistor on here, which I did get.
You can't give me a zero.
And now we are going. I'm going to now test my amperage within my circuit. I'm going to move my test lead or my leads over to my 20 amp, and we are starting off high and then moving down if needed. We are going to take one of our wires out to put our DVOM in series to get the amperage of our and we're putting our DVOM on 20 amp, and I got we're going to have our series turned on, our switch turned on, and the amperage going through it. We have 21 amps going through it. So now I'm going to switch over to my milliamp to get a more defined measurement. I am going to test my diode now. I am going to put my DVOM on diode testing mode and switch it over, and we're going to put testers on either side, and we should only get voltage one direction, which we have voltage going through. Now I'm going to turn it around, and I should not get any voltage going through. which I do not. That lets me know that my diode is working correctly and that I have voltage only going in one direction that I want. And that's how I test my DVOM. I'm going to be testing our lights, our cable connector to our trailer. I've got a test light that I'm going to connect to the cab, and then the cab through the cab into my cord that will tell me whether or not which circuits are properly working. So I'm going to take out my power line and I'm going to put in my tester. This allows me to know whether or not I have where my problem is, whether it is with my cord, whether it's in my connection to the trailer, or whether it's in my connection to my cab. So we're going to give power to our truck. We're going to turn on our flashers. We have flashing lights going to our auxiliary. We have power going to our blinkers to our left and right side. We're going to press the brake to make sure that that's working for me. We are going to press the brake, indicating that our brake light is working. This lets us know that everything from our cab to our connection to the cord is working correctly and that we don't have a fault within our line or within our connections to our cab. We are going to test our pigtail with our test light, and with that we are going to connect our light into our pigtail, and this will let us know whether the power going through the pigtail we're having proper. So we're going to go ahead and turn the vehicle on, turn our running lights on. So our running lights is on, indicating that. So that's good connection. We're going to next turn on our flashers.
I had a buddy build me a mod that I borrowed. They handed it to me like quickly, and it was only a $3. I went out and bought my own.
We are testing our flashers are on.
I did it on. I did cigarettes and just paid one.
And our last one, we're going to test our brake. There it goes. That shows us that our entire pigtail is working and we are having proper connection all the way through our pigtail. We are going to do a wire repair on our wire right here. We have got heat shrink on to after we have properly secured our wire with a standard twist repair. We are going to go ahead and strip back our wires. We're going to go 1 inch back. Whenever we're stripping back our wires, we want to make sure we haven't cut any wires And if you have cut wires, that cuts down on the amounts of the connectivity of the wire. We have got our wires stripped back 1 inch. We are going to flatten them a little bit, and then we're going to put them together and get a good twist. Now we are going to use our solder and solder our wire. We are going to make sure that our solder gets all the way through our wires so that we have proper connection through it. You're wanting to make sure that you have your solder properly hot enough so that it gets the solder through, and not cold enough so that you don't have proper connection to it, or you don't make a cold solder. So once after we're soldered, we're looking for any burnt wires. Make sure there's no sharp ends that will cut through and damage any other wires. This wire's pretty secure right now. Now we're going to bring our heat shrink over, and we're going to get our heat gun, and we're going to heat this up so that it goes secure around our wire. We have our heat gun. We are going to heat the heat shrink up so that it secures all the way around our wire. Now there is no water able to get into our into our wire now, and it is secure. You want to make sure that it is secured all the way around on the edges. With our wires, we are wanting to make sure that that we do not heat up the wire too much, because it will send resistance in. Also, if we have our wires too close to anything electrical, we need to use an electrical or a heat clamp so that it does not backfeed into our electrical and burn anything. Does not create a short of any sort. And that's how we repair a wire.